Hi there, I'm Ada for Ghostwriter Central. In this video, I will address 24 common questions about ghostwriting services and ghostwriters. If you need more information than I've provided, call owner Michael McCown at 888-743-9939. Let's get started. 1. What is ghostwriting? Ghostwriting is a professional service. We write whatever you need in your voice. Our clients have a story to tell, but not everyone has the time or skill to do the writing. You may be a candidate for ghostwriting services if you struggle with putting words on a page or telling a story in a coherent manner. Next question. 2. Is ghostwriting legal? Yes, without a doubt, ghostwriting is legal. The main issue is whether or not there is misrepresentation, since someone else other than the credited author did the writing. It's legal because there is a contract between the client for service, and normally the client retains the copyright. 3. How does ghostwriting work? If you need help, you find an experienced writer. It's simple. You and the writer discuss the project in detail. If you two agree to move forward, then a contract spelling out the terms and conditions will be signed, then the work begins. The work consists of the writer obtaining whatever source materials they can, and the writer will need to interview you by phone, Zoom, or FaceTime. When the work is completed, it's yours to publish as you see fit. 4. What does a ghostwriter do? The ghostwriter writes your story in your voice, so the work closely matches your own style, sense of humor, and applies the appropriate tone for the audience. And best of all, the credited author is you. It could be a book, a speech or an article, written materials for a corporation, or even a TV pilot or a screenplay. 5. How much does a ghostwriter cost, and do you accept payments? Famous writers will charge famous prices, but spending more than you need to doesn't necessarily translate to a publishing contract or huge sales. And famous writers will want co-credit, meaning they're not really ghostwriters, they're collaborators. Writers for whom American English is a second language may be cheap, but you're likely to have quality issues. Some writers charge per word, some by the manuscript page, or the writer may charge a flat fee. At Ghostwriters Central, we usually charge by the page. You can view our pricing on the rates page at ghostwords.com. For projects billed at $1,000 or more, we can work out a payment plan. A contract will be required. 6. How can I find a free ghostwriter? You can't find a free ghostwriter. Nobody, including you, works for free. We often hear from people who want to find a writer who will work for months without pay in exchange for a percentage of sales. The company owner says, the writer needs to put food on the table, so I have to pay the writer, which means you have to pay me. That usually ends the call. 7. How long does it take to ghostwrite a book? A few months is common. Of course, this depends on the amount of work required. A short book will be completed quicker than a long novel. We do offer rush service. One memorable project was a finance book of 300 manuscript pages. The client needed it finished in 2 weeks, and it was. For rush projects, the price doubles. 8. Do ghostwriters get credit for their work? The entire point of ghostwriting is that nobody except you knows who did the writing. These writers are typically signed to a non-disclosure agreement to preserve the secret. When the work is finished, the ghostwriter disappears, like a ghost. 9. What types of projects do ghostwriters work on? The answer is another question. What do you need help with? We write articles, product descriptions, marketing materials, book manuscripts, speeches, wedding vows, rap lyrics, theatrical scripts, TV pilots, screenplays, and more. And no, we don't use typewriters. 10. How do I find a good ghostwriter? We suggest ourselves. Call the owner, Michael McCown, now at 888-743-9939. The writers he has under contract are the survivors of his screening process, and most of them have been with the company for years. The key word in that question is good. Many lay claim to that qualification, but writing skill, a great client service attitude, the discipline to get the job done on time and done well aren't all that common. 11. What qualifications should a ghostwriter have? I can't speak for other writers or ghostwriting companies, but the bottom line at Ghostwriters Central is in no particular order: outstanding writing skill, a great command of American English, an excellent client service attitude, a firm grasp on how to structure a story, and the self-discipline to complete the project on time. All our writers are located in the United States. We will look at a writer's educational level, but that's not a major factor in deciding who to put under contract. What matters is what that writer can do and whether he or she can get the job done and make you a happy client. 12. Can a ghostwriter help with self-publishing? There are companies that provide self-publishing services, and many of those have ghostwriters on staff, but we specialize in writing only. We looked into partnering with self-publishing companies, but the bottom line is we would have no control over their service, and we really don't want to incur responsibility for what they do or don't do. Self-publishing isn't hard. Look into it by Googling how to self-publish a book. The benefit? You'll gain experience, cut red tape, and save money. 13. How is a ghostwriting contract structured? The names of the parties must be specified, as well as the nature of the work, the title of the book, the target length, the process of review, revision, and client approvals, copyright ownership, how the cost is calculated or the total cost for the work, when deliverables are to occur, and the deadline for completion. If you would like to review the contract used by Ghostwriters Central, call Michael at 888-743-9939 and ask him to send a blank contract. 14. Do ghostwriters write fiction or nonfiction? Yes! They write whatever you want, fiction or nonfiction. Writers do vary somewhat in their expertise with types or genres of writing. A nonfiction book writer might struggle with screenwriting, for instance, or a romance novelist might find a military-related project to be outside their competence. A gallery of writers appears on every page of ghostwords.com. You can also find more info on our writers on the ghostwriting staff page, which you will find under About on the menu. You can choose your writer, but we prefer to match the writer with the type of project you bring us. 15. How much input does the client have in the ghostwriting process? Our job is to write what you want. We can't do that without a lot of input from you. That writer needs to know what you know. That means collecting source material, interviewing you, and checking in with you throughout the process. You will have direct access to your writer, and that writer will need to have direct access to you. Also, you will be approving the manuscript in stages as it develops. This is our way to assure the project will be completed correctly and on time. 16. Is ghostwriting ethical? That can be problematic. It's accepted as ethical if the arrangement between you and the writer and other relevant parties, such as publishers, is transparent. It's also ethical if you contribute your ideas and experiences, and the ghostwriter just does the writing. If the work is the result of corporate outsourcing, as with any professional service, it's considered ethical. What is unethical is academic dishonesty, audience deception, or lack of author involvement. 17. Can a ghostwriter help with editing or just writing? Nearly any quality ghostwriter can also edit. When our writer delivers the final manuscript to you, it's edited by that writer. If what your work needs is editing only, we can do it. All you have to do is call. 18. What's the difference between a ghostwriter and a co-author? That's easy. The bottom line is, the ghostwriter is unknown to everyone but you. That writer is uncredited and, in the case of our company, has been paid for the work performed. Some ghostwriters will demand a share of your royalties, but that's not the way we do it. A co-author has their name on the book with yours, and no doubt gets a share of the royalties from sales. 19. How do ghostwriters capture the client's voice? This requires the ability to actively listen and absorb the words you use, your pacing, inflection, idioms, diction, syntax, and tone. The writer can transcribe audio, conduct interviews, and study your writing. Consequently, the writer will be able to closely replicate the way you communicate. Unless you specify otherwise, you should expect your ghostwriter to create in your voice. If you don't get that, then that writer is not doing what they should. 20. Are ghostwriting services confidential? A non-disclosure agreement is standard in the ghostwriting industry. In our case, the NDA binds both the company and the writer to absolute silence regarding you and your project. So yes, it's confidential. However, this can create problems since some clients want to see samples of work they've performed for others. They're not happy when we tell them no. But our contract writers can create a free sample based on your story. 21. Will a ghostwriter steal my idea? You've got a killer concept for a book or movie or a TV show. Congratulations! But you need to understand that you cannot copyright an idea, only the expression of that idea, such as in a manuscript or screenplay. The contract that you and the writer sign needs to state who the owner of the work is. When it's finished, yes, you can register it with the United States Copyright Office. If somebody steals your work, then you can take them to court. Before signing a contract, I suggest that you do a search for that writer's name or the company name. If they've been accused of intellectual property theft, then it would be a good idea to look elsewhere. 22. Can a ghostwriter help with marketing or promoting a book? Sorry, we can't do that. We are not involved in the publishing business. A ghostwriter participating in marketing or promoting violates the requirement of secrecy. Getting the book into stores is the job of the publisher, and they may even want to send you on a book signing tour. Getting the manuscript into the hands of a publisher is the job of the literary agent, or you can do that part yourself. 23. How do I know if I need a ghostwriter? You'll know if you're often like the guy in the video. Those who seek the help of a ghostwriter usually find that they just don't have the writing skill to tell the story, or they've hit a roadblock, or they're overwhelmed with the complexity, or the reader feedback is, it needs more work, or they just can't find the time to write. If you've had enough, call us. 24. Who do you recommend? We recommend Ghostwriter Central. The company was co-founded in 2002 by Michael McCown, and he heads it up. In that time, there have been thousands of clients from around the world. If you need help, call now. Your consultation is free. If you found this video useful and informative, please follow, subscribe, upvote, or share. Thank you for watching.